Hey, everybody. It's me, Sarah Blessing. I'm with Badass Amazing Feminist I Love So Much, Corinne Straight.
Hello. Hi,
And
Sarah.
we are talking about events that have happened over the last few weeks. I took a family vacation. Corinne had a TikTok, Instagram video go over 1 million individual views. Um, I'm having some big prominent Indiana Democrats tell me I'm wrong about things that I am very certain I'm not wrong about. And we've got a huge Indianapolis mayor Democrat scandal going on with the Democrats in power not doing the right thing. So we're going to talk about those issues in this quick 30 minutes or so, whatever Corinne can give time on her busy schedule. So thanks for tuning in. Corinne, can we just talk a little bit about your 1 million views, please?
Sure.
And can you just tell me how you feel about it? So you had a video about immigration. Sum it up really quick and then we'll talk.
Yeah. So it was sometime in June. It was earlier in June. And a lot of the immigration rhetoric and everything is heating up. And it's kind of been a talking point that I have used for almost a year now, because immigration was such a galvanizing issue for a lot of Republicans or conservatives during the election. And there are so many historical examples in the United States of where we have used immigration as an issue, as a campaign topic. But what we were really saying was, we actually prefer white supremacy. We prefer white people. And it's just disguised as caring about immigration, caring about quote unquote illegal immigration, etc.
Yeah, I see a lot from the right. If they're here illegally, they don't get due process. They just get sent away. And it's like, hang on. If you're not checking that they are here illegally, how do we know they are for sure? You're missing a step there in your panic and fear of people different than you.
Yes.
We have to double check that they are here illegally first. Come on,
and what does, and there's also there's so much confusion. Immigration law is obviously a very complicated topic. And so much of what has happened with immigration in the United States, it has been made purposefully complicated because it is a very successful issue for conservatives to campaign on. And it's also a moneymaker. So immigrants, when they are going through the immigration process, they pay a lot of money. It is very, very expensive.
I have friends that cannot afford it right now.
Yes.
They haven't been able to afford her, my friend's husband becoming an American citizen, the money. They can't afford it.
It's very expensive. And so the whole time that you are paying all of these fees and going through the process, you are also working, you are paying taxes. Even if you are a renter, you are paying property taxes via your rent. They are contributing to our communities and our economy, sometimes for decades, while they work through this process. So a lot of people, and for most of the base of voters who are naturally born US citizens, we don't have any experience with the immigration process. Therefore, we think, why is it so hard? Just be quote unquote legal. And there's so much confusion between what illegal and illegal. And I always explain it to people as like a spectrum. There is no black and white. There is no someone who is legal, someone who is illegal. That terminology is really incorrect, but it's galvanizing for people.
And that's what they're using.
Yes.
Illegal immigrants, scary, get them out.
And so at any point on that spectrum, somebody is going through the immigration process. So that's just a real quick, we can get into that at a different time.
But if you are one of these people that are scared of people that are born from a different country, I really encourage you to go someplace where they work and just have an ounce of empathy and engage in a conversation. And you will see that most people, regardless of skin color or religion, most people are good people and they want the same things. They want to provide money. They want a hardworking job that they can provide for their families. And I feel like since we have been segregated in our government and we live in neighborhoods where there's a lot of white people living with white people and they only see occasionally someone of a different color, it has made a lot of fear. And I just encourage those people, instead of just saying, arrest them, take a breath,
Mm-hmm.
go to a Mexican restaurant and
Yes.
speak with the people that work there, because the majority of them, just like all humans, the majority of humans are wonderful. And we need to lessen, we're all human here,
Mm-hmm.
and we all deserve basic things. And yeah, I don't like how quickly they use the fear button to scare people.
Yeah.
And now people that are of different skin colors are legit scared in our country. And
And I don't blame them.
I never thought I'd wake up in America in 2025 and be so thankful I'm a white woman born. I was born in Louisville and live in Indiana. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really sad to me.
And again, I mean, and it's not something you had any say in. You didn't choose that. It's just, so and
I got really lucky.
yeah, and when we look at the way that this kind of immigration policy or practice from this administration is being exercised, we see the ball, or the goal is moving. So during the campaign, it was just come here, quote unquote, the right way, and there will be no problem. But then we start seeing people who have come here the right way being literally kidnapped off of the street, people going to their immigration hearing and being arrested when they attend their hearing. So really, so my video was in a sense, this was never about immigration. It was always about white supremacy. And that rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
Well, because
It is
people are legit scared. People are legit scared of the boogie monster, the boogeyman that the right has put out. So they are putting out a lot of images and a lot of scary things
Mhm.
about people that are not born in this country. And a lot of it is not true, or it's propaganda. But guess what? Humans can be terrible. Humans of all skin colors and all religions and all genders, they can all be terrible. So you can, of course, find, with over 8 billion people in the world, images of who you want being bad. But that doesn't change the fact that most humans are good, regardless of their
Mhm.
skin color and their race. It's like what Martin Luther King Jr. said, where we should judge people on their character, on their
Mhm.
actions, on the way they treat others, and not things they can't control, like where they live, where they were born, their skin color, their gender, their religion, and
And
it's
most of the
just
time, like you talk about the propaganda aspect of it, when you look at crime data, most crime is committed within your own race, within your own demographics, within your own socioeconomic status. Most people are victimized by someone within that circle. So when we want to see a brown man who committed a crime against a white woman, that really is an outlier when we look at statistics. Of course, it is horrendous and no crime should ever be committed, but that is an outlier statistically. And when we use that as an example to demonize an entire population, it does such a disservice to the victim, especially because they're getting lost in someone's political narrative, and it does a huge disservice to that population of people. And when you go through propaganda throughout time, the propaganda that was being shared of different immigrant men from Honduras, Mexico, etc., during the 2024 election who had committed crimes against white women, you can just copy and paste a black man's face from the 1960s and it's the same propaganda. You can copy and paste a Japanese man's face from the 1940s. It's the same propaganda. A Chinese man's face from the early 1900s, it's the same propaganda. And white women are always the victim and the other man is always the predator.
yeah.
And when you start to realize that none of this is new. This is not a new invention. This is
Mhm.
a primal use of propaganda to manipulate people's vote. And once you see that and you say, oh my gosh, this is just white supremacy. This is just the original act of the United States as coming and colonizing a people, using all of these other white supremacist tactics. We are still doing the same thing 200 years later, 300, 400 years later. We've
Yeah.
not changed.
The
And
tools have changed and
yeah,
become more powerful. The weapons have changed. AI is being used for good and bad.
hmm
Social media is being weaponized to divide us. It is being used for good and bad. It is very easy to find propaganda quicker. And the people that want us fighting against each other instead of working together to take on the real people that are hurting us, it's just becoming easier for them. And so we really need to fight for unity in our communities. If you know somebody that is scared of a Mexican and you're friends with that person, can you very calmly and kindly express that maybe that's propaganda? Can you just tell them one thing that's not true that they said? We have to do it. We can't expect them to see a Facebook post that you made and that that's going to fix it. They're not
No.
seeing it. They're only seeing what they want to see on Facebook. So we actually have to go out and do the hard work ourselves. And that's the scary part, I think, of all of this.
And this will take and
it's not going to be solved in one day.
Going to take a long time. It's going to take a lot of education and empathy and understanding. And, and there's also a lot of historical context that is missing. And if people don't understand the role that the United States has played in destabilizing places like Honduras, Argentina, Guatemala, etc.
We've messed countries
We've gone in and really messed up people's countries for our own profit and our own gain. And then we get really angry when these people are fleeing what has become an unsustainable way of life and an unsafe way of life. And we've benefited from that. And yet we want to turn our backs on them. And so all of that context is lost, and it's lost on purpose because it doesn't help them win the next election if the United States is the bad guy, because it is a lot of them.
We could just do two things. If we could stop before we are scared of someone, and we could put on their shoes and walk a mile, if we could look at their lives like they're a human being and say, wait a minute, they're being terrorized in their country and their family could be murdered. Their children could be murdered. Oh, if my children could be murdered in my country, I would do everything I could to save them. Oh, and then if we added that with some empathy, where we care about these real human beings, if we just did those two things, think how much better we would be off right now today. And we can get there, but fear is the easiest way to control people. And so we've got to recognize that they are fearing, and the Democrats do it too. The left does it too. They're dumping in the fear to make us not trust each other, when really most Republicans and most Democrats are good people. They're just being fed different scary things. If we can just everybody recognize what's happening to us and work together, we can work to solve these problems instead of just fear mongering and creating more problems. So thanks for talking about this with me. And I'm really proud of you. You make a lot of good content. All of your content should have millions of views. And I'm really grateful that one did.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you, my amazing friend. Sometimes if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, well, Corinne is my freaking friend. And I can call her and she'll talk to me on the phone. And I'm really lucky. So you're one of my blessings.
It was pretty fun. And I mean, it's not something that I expected. And that's kind of what all of this is.
Every once in a while I look at your social media and I'm like, is that a 1M? Wait a minute, is that an M? I've never seen this before in Corinne.
And then it's right next to a video with 300 views. So you never know. You never know. And that is kind of the point, is that
if you can subscribe to Corinne's content to get extra content if you follow her on Instagram or TikTok. And that's how she can actually make some legit money. She makes some money on TikTok, but really,
tiny bit.
If you watch her stuff, she doesn't ask for very much for subscribing. This is my plea to please help my friend out who's pumping out amazing content, to just subscribe to her stuff. I'm really proud of you. And I want to do a live show with you. We're going to talk about this more later.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to do a live show with you in Indianapolis.
That would be really fun.
If you all are watching this and there is a venue that you know about in Indy, because I don't live in Indy, Corinne doesn't, but it's a halfway point for us. If you know of a good venue where we could have like 30, 40 people come to a Project Next ticketed event where you pay like $30 to come and meet us, and it's not going to be on social media, it's going to be intimate. And if you are in Indianapolis and being like, I would love to have Sarah and Corinne come, and we're going to do our show maybe on feminism, our first show. Would you message us if you know of any places and help us out? Message me because I don't have 1 million followers, so I will see it. Corinne might not see it, but message me on
Yeah.
Project Next stuff so that we can try to get that rolling. And if I could get the dream of getting to be in person with my friend Corinne again, that would be awesome. So
That would be really fun. We would have a blast.
I want to talk now about this stuff was happening while I was on vacation. I did a road trip to New England with my family and it was beautiful and very much needed, but I missed a lot of stuff going on that I wanted to talk about. The Indianapolis mayor, what's his name, Corinne?
It has to do with Matt. Joe Hogsett.
Joe Hogsett doesn't treat women that work for him very well. And
Yes.
very many people have come forward. And he's a Democrat. And it's not just this behavior. There's a lot of things he does that I personally do not approve of, nor like, nor think he is a great Democrat. And I personally wish we had a better Indianapolis Democrat mayor. Now, I don't get to vote in that election. I'm not in Indy. I'm really proud of Jesse Brown, city councilman, for calling out his crap, because that's how I learned about him. I just kind of blindly assumed that since he was a Democrat in Indy that he'd be doing a good job, but no, he's not. No. He has mistreated women, especially, and other people on his staff, right? His main chief person is also
yes, the chief of staff. The chief of staff was one of the main perpetrators, but there have been others. Yeah.
Okay. So there's lots of unhealthy behavior going on in this Indianapolis mayor stuff. And the Indiana Democrat Central Committee is really just putting blinders on and hoping that the story goes away so they don't have to do anything about it. And I'm so wish we could go back in time and get Destiny Wells elected as Dem State Chair, because she would have been on this. She would have done the right thing. She's a badass military leader, Democrat, lawyer, very intelligent woman who herself has been bullied and gaslit and harassed. So she knows the appropriate ways to deal with this. I wish she were our chair right now, but our Democrat Central Committee bullied and harassed and gaslit her, and she's not currently a part of this Democrat group, which saddens me greatly, because this would be the number one person I would go to. What should we do, Destiny? And I would do what she said. But they're not, I don't think they're asking her. They're doing the old school thing, which is we keep our skeletons in the closet and we wait for them to go away. And my question to the Democrat Central Committee, that hopefully they're watching or get wind of this, my question to them is, would you feel comfortable letting your 23-year-old granddaughter work for Hogsett? Would you be comfortable with that? Because I would not let my daughter or my son work for these Democrats. So if you are perfectly fine, let's put them on the staff and see how they are treated. Because maybe you're missing some empathy here. I don't know. I know we're missing basically healthy behavior. Mm-hmm. And it saddens me because I know that they have done this to Destiny. They have been abusive. They've spread gossip. They've hurt her, really tried to get her out of the party just because she wanted to make a few very necessary changes, and they were terrified of those changes. I'm very frustrated with the Indiana Democrat Central Committee. And I just think we don't put up the pressure. We don't stop the pressure until they get better. What do you think?
And there's so much of this stems from there is still just a deep fundamental misunderstanding of what abuse of power and sexual abuse and harassment looks like in the workplace. And people don't understand it because it is a topic that has been taboo. I mean, one of the little kind of data points that I think about a lot is there are still some state legislatures that do not have a policy in place about sexual abuse and harassment. And the Indiana state legislature adopted its policy in 2019. So we are fairly recent in really adopting a policy that takes these kind of offenses seriously. And I've heard so many people dismiss of, oh, well, that's just text messages. Oh, it's just words. Oh, it's just whatever. But when that is the environment that's being created where you have to go to work every single day, you have to make a choice between paying your bills, and being harassed and mentally suffering. And it's again, it's another issue that is taking a really long time for us to wrap our minds around. And we are losing really good talent. We're losing really good
and
people.
we don't have time in Indiana. We
No.
cannot afford this. Get it together.
We're
Indiana is one of the worst states in the country now. Democrats, do better. And if you're not going to do better, retire.
And there are so many people doing very good work in this subject area. The National Women's Defense League is one of them, who specifically studies abuse of power in state legislatures. And to watch Republicans, because what National Women's Defense League found is that it's pretty much an even split. It's like 49%, 51% between Republicans and Democrats of who are the perpetrators of abuse. So this is not a party issue. This is a half and half. This is a power issue, and this is an unchecked power with no consequences issue. And when there are people who are experts in this field that are proposing solutions or steps to take to get towards a solution to create safer workspaces, because this is at its core, it's a workers' rights issue. It's a work environment issue. And those steps are not being adopted because it seems too hard, or it seems too, who knows why. That's really frustrating, because there are just, at some point in time, people have to look in the mirror and say, I don't know how to do this. I am not equipped to handle this. Let's bring in people who know what they are doing. And everything that happened with the Indianapolis investigation was really disappointing and hurt the victims once again. And
which breaks my heart.
Hurting people.
And it didn't brave.
Yeah. And it didn't give anyone confidence that if they experience something next year, that they can come forward and get justice, because they've watched what has happened to these people. So
now, I just want to, we interviewed most of the people running for Indiana State Dem chair, including Karen Talion, who's now our chair. And we asked them questions about this, and they said they were making a policy. And I think they did make a policy. And they did release a really terrible statement about this subject. We need more. And I don't think we're going to stop. I'm not stopping. I'm just going to keep growing with Project Next. You got freaking 1 million views now. You're not stopping. A bunch of other amazing Hoosiers that care about abuse victims are not stopping, that are Democrats. So we're not going away. This skeleton is not going to stay in the closet. Democrat Central Committee. We are going to keep shining a light on it until you do something. Now, once you do something, we're just going to praise you. We're not going to go after you. We're not going to make you out to be a monster. You're not monsters. I like Karen Talion as a person. I like her. I'm thankful for the work she's done. But they need to do better, and they need to push. And she's old school. She's old school, hide it under the closet. If you would look up the appropriate behavior and get with the times, get with 2025, we don't treat people that way anymore in the workplace. If you treat people that way, the light gets shown upon you, and people that care find out about it. And so we're going to keep doing that. So please, Indiana Democrat Central Committee, please do better. Please stop hurting people that are on the right side. Please change your stance, and we will shine a light, and thank you for it. So just know what's going to happen. We're not going to, I'm not attacking anybody. I want real change in Indiana, and I will be very grateful for whoever gives it. If it's a Republican that wants to come in and do something, I will shine a light and be thankful for that. But I hope it's the Democrats, since it's our side causing this abuse right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Third thing I want to talk about, right before I left for my big road trip, Tim Peck, myself, and Jason Kerberg, the Republican cop running for sheriff in Floyd County, the three of us wrote an op-ed. It was mostly Tim that wrote it, about the events we attended, how we're going to each other's events. We're showing up to Jason's events. Jason is coming to some of our events, and we're showing unity. Even though we don't agree with everything Jason agrees with, we know that Jason's a good person and he's trying to protect the community, and that's why he chose to be a cop. And we don't agree with everything, but we really like Jason. He's a friend of mine. I really like him. And we wrote this op-ed saying this is how we do this. We talk to Republicans and we learn each other's sides and we compromise for the benefit of the community. It helps me out to be friends with a Republican cop. It helps Jason to be friends with me, a prominent Democrat. We help each other, and in that, hopefully, we help the community.
Mm-hmm.
So the article said that. I posted it on my Facebook. A very prominent Democrat let me know I was wrong. He said, this is wrong for that time. And he went on to explain how I'm wrong. Now, this Democrat lives in a very purple, more blue area, which I do not live in. I live in a rural, mostly Republican or non-voting community. And he let me know I'm wrong about Republicans. And I was like, are you talking to Republicans? Do you know Jason? Have you talked to him? Have you met with him and gone to his events like I have? How am I wrong when I'm telling you these are real Republicans I'm friends with? And just straight up, he's let me know I'm wrong. And I just think it's fear. And he's really angry at Tim. He's really angry at Tim that Tim is talking to Republicans. He's like, this is the wrong approach. We need other people running for Congress. We don't need somebody talking to Republicans. And I just legit think it's because he's scared to talk to Republicans. And he felt safe telling me I was wrong because I'm a woman that lives far away from him and I'm not going to yell at him. And so he felt safe in letting me know I'm wrong. And I'm telling you, I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wrong on some things. I'm not right all the time. But on this issue, I think I talked to thousands more Republicans than this man. So what do you think about this? You sort of know what happens.
Yeah, it is. It's a difficult time. It's a tricky time. And everybody is trying to figure out the best way to build relationships and coalitions. And I don't think anybody knows what the perfect answer is or the right answer is. And it is unfortunate that you were criticized, but that is kind of what we see, right? The people who are criticized for things are the people that we feel as a society we can criticize because it's the woman, it's the so that part is frustrating. And when people are so forceful with their viewpoint like that, they think it's because they have the answer, and there is no the answer. Nobody has the magic solution. Nobody has the magic sauce to kind of get us back to where we want to be or progress us to where we want to be. And it's unfortunate that we are trying to kind of eat our own sometimes within the Democratic Party and give Republicans more of a reason to not trust Democrats because they can't even back each other, even when there are disagreements within the party.
The frustration I have with not a lot, but some top Democrats, the frustration I have is their certainty that they're right. Their inability to just sit and listen to me or anybody else explain, but this Republican doesn't know that the right is doing that terrible thing. Their social media isn't feeding them that. They see the good stuff. They see a completely different picture of the Republicans than we see. And we're yelling at the people like they're evil when they're good people, wonderful people. And it's, what are we going to do? They took one path towards clicking on something that fed them fake things, and we're going to crucify them because of it. I believed fake things that I was fed to on my far left wing of the internet, and I had to figure out they were wrong. Should I be crucified because I thought things that were wrong? We have to stop blaming the people that are being tricked, and we need to realize both sides have things wrong. Both sides have things wrong. And I struggle when I'm confronted with usually a white male letting me know he is right and he will refuse to listen to my life experiences. When I'm door knocking my rural neighborhood and getting to know a bunch of Republicans, refuse. And that's where I get very frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Just have an open mind. They say we have open minds. They say we're on the
Oh no, Sarah, I lost you. Sarah! Oh no, what happened? I don't know if I'm still on. I think I'm still on, but Sarah is frozen and I'm going to take a picture
Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened to our
of what
internet.
she looks like now.
Are you okay?
Look at how you were frozen.
Yay!
Yeah, you were frozen like that and I was still talking to you and I'm like, Sarah. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but I'm at my parents' house, hence the pretty clouds in the
Oh,
background.
it
So
looks nice.
first
It
time,
looks
I'm
like
going to
you
try
made
to do
yourself
shows here so I can get
a
some
little background.
childcare.
I like it.
Yeah, I think we need to end up anyway. You need to go, busy girl. Um, we'll do more shows. I've got a show next week on the 10th, I think, where I'm interviewing a man from Oregon who lost his family farm because of Amazon and the energy stuff going on there. They're buying up land.
Because of a data center or like
They,
the renewable stuff.
I think it's data center, but I'm not for sure. He's going to tell us and how they've been able to infiltrate the state house in Oregon. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of non-disclosure agreements and stuff. And so he's going to explain because we have our own energy problem going on here. If you want to know more, just follow Citizens Action Coalition. They're tracking it in Indiana. And so he saw that episode and reached out to me. And we're going to do an episode next week. And I'll get some more scheduled. Just side note, my dad has been in the hospital. My mom has been sick. And they were my childcare. And it went from them being childcare to me helping my parents. So things have been a little bit hard over here.
I'm so
That's why
sorry
I
to
haven't
hear
been.
that, Sarah. It's such a weird place to be in this age range of taking care of parents and taking care of kids. And
Yeah, my parents are 72. I love them very much. And it's hard. They've always just been so much there for me, and they give a lot of childcare, and but they also need help, and I also want to be around them. And so it's a balance of taking care of my parents, being for my kids, doing Project Next. So I will be on, and I'm gonna try to go to the Popcorn Festival on Saturday in Corden and try to do a live for that.
oh, that'd be fun.
Our YouTube subscriptions are at like 555 now. We're getting there. We're trying to get to 1,000. So if you're watching this and you wouldn't mind subscribing to Project
yes,
Next,
please go subscribe.
And then we also have
it really
Substack.
helps.
We also have a Substack. On Substack, we're Project Next Indiana, and that you can get the Substack and just listen through our podcast, or you can watch our shows that way too. But Facebook only keeps up our shows for 30 days, so that's where we're getting most of our views.
Mm-hmm.
I would think if you can't find something on Facebook, YouTube or the Substack would be a good way.
Yeah, YouTube and Substack are kind of like the archives, I guess, or that's kind of the place that you can find the whole library.
And I never know how much an algorithm is going to promote our stuff, since we're calling for unity and not division. So it would be good if you had the Substack just in case you didn't see our stuff pop up on Facebook or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, because we don't control that. Yeah. Substack is more of a you can subscribe to the people that you want, and then you get their information delivered to you, and that's really helpful.
And then I think we're going to keep doing more live shows. I had one live show with Brian Zimmerman last week. It was really beautiful. We made a little money for Project Next, but the main thing was people came that wanted to talk about trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to meet Brian, and they wanted to ask us questions about how to deal with their trauma. And it was really beautiful and meaningful. And it was so wonderful being in person. So we definitely want to do more in-person events, especially if you want to communicate to us, but you don't want to do it on social media. So be on the lookout for more live events. And Corinne, I'm going to keep bothering you until you do a live event with me.
I can't wait. It'll be fun. It'll be so fun. And I do want to share, I want to share one little piece of breaking news as we are getting off here, because it's about 2:40 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, July 3rd, and the House of Representatives has just passed the one big beautiful bill that I have been calling the one big bucket of bullshit bill, because this, honestly, y'all, it doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter your political affiliation. The data is so clear that this kind of legislation will continue to harm really the bottom 95% of Americans. And I have been doing research and putting together some videos. I'm going all the way back to the Reagan tax cuts, the Reagan deregulation, the Bush tax cuts, now the Trump tax cuts of 2017 and 2025. There is substantial financial and quality of life harm that is being done to the vast majority of Americans because of a decrease in federal revenue. And a lot of this is a very emotional topic because people will lose their health care, and it's very, very clear there from the very beginning of this debate. If you are someone who thinks that waste, fraud, and abuse is going to be cleaned up and people who quote unquote deserve health care or food assistance are going to get it, and the people who don't deserve it aren't going to get it, that math has never worked. And there is such a tiny fraud rate in Medicare, Medicaid. The fraud rate of both of those programs is very tiny, and the vast majority of it, over 98% of quote unquote fraud, is improper billing, mistakes, and it's done by providers. It's not done by patients. The SNAP, which is the food stamp program, that has a fraud rate or an improper use rate of less than 1%. So this is a red herring. It was a way to get people to, once again, believe who deserves healthcare, who deserves food, and who doesn't. And I just keep thinking about 95% of us Americans being in the same boat. And so many of our neighbors are actively punching holes in that boat because they think that if all of us are hurt, it's fine. And the extent to which, as Americans, we are taught to value wealth and praise wealth and want to support wealth as if it is a sign of moral good or moral character. The income inequality in this country is, again, those are numbers. There are a lot of emotions in this topic, but the numbers back it up. And so this is a very devastating bill. And the fact that, President Trump will get his wish, he'll get to sign this by July 4th, which was kind of an artificial timeline. And it's incredibly sad to see how many people will be harmed like this, will be harmed by this bill. And I mean, one of my good friends, Aaron, who, is an elected official in my area, was on our local news earlier this week talking about the impacts to nursing homes, because he put up a Facebook post saying, hey, I hope you're ready for grandma to come live with you, because a lot of people don't know that the vast majority of nursing home patients are not just Medicare, they are also Medicaid. So Medicaid is not just something for those gross poor people, right? It's supplemental coverage. So this is really sad. And I know that, like I said, it's breaking news and it's raw, but I wanted to touch on it before we got off here because I've been obsessively, I'm on my phone, I'm checking, and it kind of, the people that I didn't have any doubt that it would pass.
I want to share a personal story that happened during the election, this past election, when Tim was running against our current Congresswoman, Erin Houchin. Erin Houchin did not make very many public appearances. She will show up for Republicans. She will especially show up for Republicans that will donate money to her campaign. And whenever he was calling out that she's not showing up for the public, she made one public appearance that I am aware of. She met with my friends. That are, my friend Anissa Kellum is the first woman commissioner of Harrison County. She's Republican. And her sister, Lisa, is the person in charge of our hospital, the Harrison County Hospital in Cordon. And they did a very public appearance of Erin Houchin went to this hospital, and they took a picture with her and Lisa and the Republicans and put it up all over Republican stuff that here she is supporting Harrison County Hospital. This bill might close down that hospital that she voted yes for.
Yep.
And I don't think the majority of people in Harrison County that voted Republican, that voted for Aaron Houchin, know this. They don't know that
Mm-mm.
that woman that looks like she cares about the hospital because she came to the hospital, they don't know that she just voted to possibly shut this hospital down. It's been known. They made a list of what hospitals may close down, and this is one of them. So we'll have to wait and see. Do we lose our one hospital in the county? Is
Yep.
it going to be harder for people in an emergency? Are they going to have to go farther away for care to stay alive? And
Yeah.
who do we blame? Well, we blame Erin Houchin,
Mhm.
Congresswoman for District 9, because she voted for it. And if we would have voted for our co-founder, Tim Peck, he would have voted no on this.
And what Republicans in Congress are counting on is all of us to have very short memories, because
I'm not
with
forgetting.
any kind of legislation like this, it does take years to really see the impact of it. We are still unraveling the impacts of the 2017 tax cuts, for example. We're 8 years into that, and we know some of the devastating impacts. We don't know all of it. And so Republicans are counting on this not harming them for the 2026 midterms and beyond, because they will find a way to just blame Democrats for it.
They run the
Yeah.
Supreme Court, they have the presidency, they have the Senate, they have the House of Representatives. We have to make sure regular people who don't pay attention to politics understand whose fault this is when it very
Mhm.
slowly in a year or so or 2 years hurts them. We have
Yep.
to kindly say, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Do you know why this happened to you? And we can't do
Yep.
it in revenge mode, yell at them, because they don't know. Most people don't know that this is going to hurt someone in their family. They don't know.
And whether or not, this is the other thing. I mean, it's also very clear in this legislation, and this is not, people who are way smarter than these politicians are analyzing the tax benefits, the economic benefits, the real financial implications of this. And whether or not you rely on Medicaid or Medicare, everyone's health premiums go up. I mean, that's why so many other nations have a universal system of healthcare, because they know in the long run it's actually cheaper. Because when more people are uninsured, the cost of healthcare goes up. And Dr. Tim Peck says it all the time. Bad healthcare is very expensive. It's always more expensive than good healthcare. And it's a really, really sad, this is a really, really sad moment in the United States. And the people who are still supporting this either they just want it to burn down and they don't care, or they really don't understand the impacts. So we'll have to watch, because it will take years. It will take years for all of this to unfold. We just have to keep talking about it
and
and
I don't
reminding.
understand it. I don't understand the law. I don't understand the medical stuff. Tim just literally wrote a book about this.
Yep.
And he's a medical doctor, and he's like the smartest person I know. And he will do a show on this. He will do several shows on this. So if you are panicked and worried, at least know that Tim will talk about this and get the facts out, and we can discuss it, and he can give his best advice. And he wants to clean it up.
Yeah.
That's what's so frustrating. We have people that know better solutions than what's happening, but we're not electing those people. So just know it's coming. I know you got to go. So thanks for meeting with me today.
Thank you. I'm sorry we didn't get to everything.
Oh, it's fine. Please share this episode with anybody that might benefit from this information, and survivors of workplace abuse. You have my love. I've been there. I've had a terrible boss, and I waited out until she got fired for other reasons. Nobody caring all of the torture she did to me and other people. But I've been there, and we'll keep fighting. And Democrat Central Committee, hey, let's start holding bad people accountable when they're on our side. Let's do it. Thanks, Corinne.
Thank you, Sarah. Love you too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.